Coming to you live around the world from NOV's Studio 202. This is Inside Out Horizons. With your hosts, Lydia Brantley, my Belmar, Jeremy Griswold, Cass Casey, Michael Gaines, and Shelby Dumaine. Now, let's start the show.
Hello and welcome to Inside Out Horizons. I'm your host today, Mai Belmar. Thrilled to have you guys back as we talk about industry conversations and perspectives in the energy and technology space. Today, we have the pleasure of talking to Engineering Vice President Dib Dib of NOV, discussing a global perspective of the industrial technologies and solutions space. Before we begin the program, I'd love to talk to you more about how to stay engaged. Later on in the program, we'll be taking questions with you all, and in doing so, I'd like to welcome Shelby Dumaine to the show. Welcome to Shelby.
All right, thank you. Yeah, just like you said, everyone who's watching, welcome to the show. And if you want to get involved in today's episode, the simplest thing you can do is comment below. So whether you're watching on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, or even our newest platform that we're streaming on Twitter, if you're watching there, go ahead and comment and let us know what questions you have for our extra special guest today, for what questions you have for Mai even, and we're gonna do a Q&A at the end of the show where your questions can get asked live on air. As long as you comment those below, I'll get to them. And right now, if you want to practice going in the comment section, I always like to see where you're watching from. So it's always one of my favorite things to look at the comments here on my computer. I see already Brazil is in the house, Houston as well. We got Angela. So thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. And again, let us know where you're watching. And then throughout the show, let us know those questions, and we will get to as many as we can at the end of the show. And following this show today, if you have any other questions, maybe you want to watch a past episode and get a question there, you can always send in those to socialmedia@nov.com, as well as you can check out all of our past episodes at nov.com/live. So there's a couple ways you can find us later, but like I said, for today, all you have to worry about is commenting below. And I will see you here in the comment section, and I'll check back in at the end of the show with your questions. All right, Mai, back to you.
Thanks, Shelby. Always excited to have our special guest here. Dib Dib, thank you for joining us here on our program.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. When I think about your bio and your background, there is an incredible depth to it. Not only at NOV are you almost celebrating your 19 years of service, which is already in itself its own feat. But I think about some of your past bio and background, getting your master's in mechanical engineering in Beirut, positions like sales engineer, area manager, director of sales and operations, VP of engineering, and vice president of industrial space, all positions that have different touch points of customers in our technology and industrial world. As I tap into that and I think about what it took to get me here on this seat today, we talked about the different things that I took for granted. Turning on the water and having clean water to brush my teeth this morning, having the toothbrush and the plastic in my toothbrush to support me, taking my vitamins in the morning before I got here, and then getting in my car and driving to our beautiful studio, all touch points that our industrial solutions in space provides into in multiple different applications. Before I jump in, I'd love to kind of share with the audience, what does industrial solutions mean to you?
So as you said, Mai, we manufacture equipment for most of the industries that manufacture the basic needs for people, from water, wastewater, pharmaceutical, food and beverage. So these industries rely on our equipment and their process to make the final product for the consumer.
Wonderful. Are there any specific technologies that you currently are specializing in working in that you can share with us?
So with our two major product lines we have in the industrial business unit, are the pumps, progressive cavity pumps, and mixers. And we manufacture agitators, static mixers, and shearing devices that go into those industrial processes.
Wonderful. You know, I think a lot about innovation in our space from the conception of when these progressive cavity pumps or mixing and agitators were formed. From there into today, how has innovation played a huge role into what and how we're servicing the industry?
Yeah, and we are the leaders in both product lines we manufacture. So we came up with the technologies that really the customer relies on in their processes, and we keep doing it. So we always invest in our new product development in order to keep giving the customer the technologies to deal with tough conditions like high pressure, high temperature applications.
Great. So we talked a little bit earlier before this show about the pursuit of giving the customer and keeping the customer top of mind. I think your background is vast in that you didn't just come into a very senior role and said this is how it's going to get done. You've been out in the field. You've worked with customers side by side and really understood their needs. How does that customer perspective lend to you in your position today?
Yeah, I started my career as a sales engineer, and in this role, I was more providing technical assistance to the customer, looking at any challenges they have, and trying to solve it with our technology. So this gave me the experience to deal with the customer, be there with them, understand how they think and what they need when they are in a difficult situation. And this stayed with me, like in every other position I've taken. I always thought about the customer, what I'm doing and what the team is doing and what the company is doing, how this will impact the customer, and if it's making their life easier, better, always considering the customer experience, because we need to understand their buying behavior, what is driving their decisions and buying this equipment, and how also understanding their process, how they are using our product, not only, looking at what our equipment is doing, but how this equipment or this pump or mixer is fitting within the process they are dealing with.
There are so many different industries that we touch, right? So I had the pleasure just last week of going through the city of Katie's wastewater treatment plant. And I was watching some of our pumping technologies, and there was just two, and two of our munchers as well, service the full city of Katy. I thought to myself, what happens if it doesn't work? If we don't have that option. There's a certain level of trust and reliability that has to come with our products and offerings. So how has the advancement of this technology and what you're doing in your space service our customers?
Yeah, as you said, we serve industries that run 24/7, and they cannot stop it. Like wastewater, we can't imagine, what's going to happen if it's not running. So, and the customer trusts our equipment, that they are heavy-duty equipment that will keep their operation going. And this is anytime we introduce new technology, we need to make sure that we are introducing reliable equipment. And even now with making our equipment smarter, we can monitor the pumps or mixers to make sure they are in operation. If there is any issue, we know ahead of time that this might be a failure in the near future. So we notify the customer that there's something going wrong. Let's fix it before it fails.
Great. So there is a digital solution component to sort of where our pumping and mixing technology is going towards. Can you dive a little bit more into those digital solutions? I'd love to kind of share how our technology has advanced in that space.
That's right. So we are making our equipment smarter. So we are installing instrumentation around our equipment, detecting vibration, high temperature, high pressure, that will give us indication that the process is above the normal operating limits, and there is something wrong that we need to look at.
Great, great. Thank you. If you're just now joining us, I am sitting here having the pleasure to talk to our Engineering Vice President, Dib Dib of NOV, talking about a global perspective in our industrial solutions and technology space. If you have any questions for Dib or us throughout the show, please comment and send those along. We'd love to take those later on in our program. So Dib, you mentioned a couple of fun industries and applications that we play into. Are there any fun projects or differences between different industries or applications that you can share with us? I shared a couple of things that it took for me to get here today,
Yeah.
but I know there's just a vast level of applications that we play into.
That's right. We serve different sectors in the market, and this what make our job fun. Because we serve every day we deal with a new customer. For example, we deal with the wineries and we deal with wastewater. We deal with pharmaceutical companies, food and beverage, and usually the customer comes to us with a challenge. Because our pumps deal with high viscosity, high solid content. So usually they have a challenge in their process and they come to us to solve it. So every day we have to think about a tweak to our technology in order to solve this challenge for the customer. So all the applications are fun, and sometimes we're happy that we are helping the customers and the consumer getting the product they need.
Great. In your pursuit to always have the customer top of mind, how are you looking at the customer from a global view, right? So you've had the pleasure of living in Beirut, in Dubai, here now in the States. Are customers different across the world? How are we servicing them specifically for industrial solutions?
Absolutely. Each customer, each region has its own culture. Even sometimes within the same region or country. And because we deal with different sectors, each industry, even though they use the same technology, but the application is different, and the customers' buying behavior might be different. So it's very important to understand the culture, the customer's culture, how they buy it, what's important for them, for this industry and for the company. So understanding this is very important for the day-to-day business. And when it comes to introducing new product, it's, again, very important to really be aligned with how they are doing their job and helping them.
Great. I think a lot about, oftentimes this is a very reactive conversation with customers. There's a certain issue that is arising, and so they're considering our technology or solution to provide that. What are some of the advantages that we want our customers to consider prior to a problem even happening? I think about, working with a company that has long-standing in years of service, someone that has a global perspective. Are there any other challenges that you want to keep top of mind for our customers when they're thinking about our industrial solutions for them?
Yeah, so the customer rely on us in tough situations, and when they have high temperature, high pressure applications, so they come to us, and that's why we have to provide this type of solution for them.
Great. Shelby, I'd love to kind of move over to see if there's any questions from the audience that they might have for Dib.
Sure. This question came from online. Can you talk about, is there kind of a novel use case where you've worked in a kind of solved a customer need that was maybe really specific and kind of fun that maybe people wouldn't normally think about?
Yes, we have in some situations combined our pump and mixing technologies into one package. And this is something unique that we could do for the customer because we have different technologies. Our competitors, they have different solutions, but with the mixing and the pump, they came to us with high viscosity and product that we had to deal with by combining these two in order to give them the final product. Also, sometimes not necessarily it can be a technical challenge. For example, recently a pharmaceutical company came to us. They are asking for a mixer to speed up the COVID-19 vaccine production, and they wanted this mixer in a really short time. And we were able to help them doing it, and we were really proud that we could deliver this mixer on time so we can increase the production or help increasing the COVID-19 vaccine production.
That's fantastic. That's a beautiful story. I think a lot about how there isn't time, right? Time isn't of the essence when it comes to what we're dealing with today in the pandemic, so that we were able to contribute to those vaccination productions and meet the demands of our customers, and how that's saving lives today is pretty remarkable. That's fantastic. When I think about the importance of our industrial solutions space, what does that mean to you? Why does it need to be important to our industry?
As I said earlier, we serve industries that manufacture basic needs for people, and being part of that is give us self-satisfaction that we are contributing to helping everyone, and it's a good diversification within the company that we have, in addition to the energy part. That we can contribute to other sectors that can grow and help the company.
Wonderful. Shelby, any other questions that come through?
Yeah, we did. We got this one from Andreas on LinkedIn. Can you talk about, maybe this might be something now or in the future, I don't even know the answer to this. Does 3D printing come into play with industrial solutions at all?
Absolutely. In fact, yesterday I was in a additive manufacturing conference. So we are using additive manufacturing for some of our equipment. The static mixers, we are using it, and we are looking at different products that we can apply this technology. The technology is advancing, and in the same time, we are exploring the different products, parts we do, to see which ones are good candidates for additive manufacturing. And on top of that, we are appointing or recruiting engineers to look at designing products for additive. So changing the design in order to be suitable for additive manufacturing. Because we can introduce lots of features and advantages into our parts and products with additive that we couldn't do with the traditional manufacturing processes.
That's a great question. Now, other than 3D printing and technologies, are there any other fun concentrations such as those that we're looking into and working within?
So we look at lots of technologies available in the market, whether it's design automation, any software selection, and automating our processes in order, again, thinking about the customer, how this will impact the customer experience and getting their needs faster, whether it's a early stage of an order like selection, quotation, or later when we need to deliver the product.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Yeah, that's all the questions we have right now, but I think we still have a little bit of time. If you have any more, you can get those in really quick, and we'll get to more questions before we close out.
Yeah. Dib, I know you have an incredibly technical background. You've, in a very short period of time, was able to see the world and also see different positions that given you that global perspective from, a sales engineer all the way to vice president, working in operations and commercial sales. What advice would you give to someone that is starting in an engineering, background? You mentioned 3D printing and looking for engineers in that space, but what advice would you give to a younger Dib or a younger generation today looking to get into the industrial technology space?
Yeah. My first advice is do the things you like or love to do. Never, follow a trend or do things because, everyone is doing it. do whatever you enjoy doing. This is my first advice. Now, when it comes to engineering, there are lots of new technologies that are growing. We spoke about digital, and this is coming, and this is growing, and this is gonna continue to grow. Additive manufacturing, again, it's developing. That's why we keep looking at the technology, at what the companies are introducing in the market. So. And the advancement is the cost, because cost is very important, and the technology itself, the speed and what material we can use with additive. These two sectors are continue to growing. My advice, always look, how the industry is changing, and be open for change. Don't be stuck in one area of the engineering.
That's great. So just have a vast understanding, accept all opportunities, open all doors. I don't know if you thought you'd be in this position today when you thought about your career back in your university at Lebanese, but there is something really unique and special about understanding what makes our customers tick and work, and how our technologies fill that space for them. I greatly appreciate your time. I am so thrilled that we're able to talk a little bit more about our industrial solutions, and I just thank you for your time today with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
And thank you for joining us. We had a great program and would love to hear more feedback from you all. If you have any questions for Deep or just some suggestions or topics for us, feel free to shoot us an email at socialmedia@nov.com. If you're also interested in past programs with any of our past hosts as well as myself, you can look at any of our live shows on nov.com/live. As we roll into the holiday seasons, and from NOV, all of us to you, we're wishing you a warm and happy holidays. We look forward to having you back, and thank you for being here.